What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's your man DJ Darryl J, and today I got something real special for you. So the folks over at Samson went ahead and sent me their Samson Expedition Explor PA system for review. And you know, before you think this is going to be a little fluff piece, it's absolutely not. I always keep it 100 with my reviews, regardless of who sends me something to review or not, because my goal is to make sure that I'm giving out the best information for the wedding pros, the musicians, and anybody who actually needs a PA system for their setup. So without further ado, let's get into it. So as a wedding pro, you know how important it is, especially when you go into some of these older venues where you don't know where the electrical outlet is. You need something that you're not hauling around that's super heavy. You want something lightweight, portable, and that actually gives you that crisp sound. And whether you're a musician, a mobile DJ, or anybody else that's in the entertainment field that's on a mobile basis. So this thing right here, I think you're gonna like it. But the real question is the quality there? It's lightweight, of course, but is the quality going to give us that crisp sound that we're looking for? Before we get into my thoughts on the sound quality, how about we get into some of the specifications? So right out of the box, you're of course going to get your Explor PA system. You're going to get an IEC cable, a manual, and a little bonus. You're actually going to get a covering case. Not a lot of PA systems do that. Now let's take a look at the back. So we have our two XLR ports with reverb and full volume control. We actually do also get an auxiliary in for a more stable connection. And if you're not one for those that use the auxiliary port, you do have Bluetooth. This speaker does come with a full Bluetooth audio input as well, and you do have the line out. So if you have a videographer that needs to get sound while you're in your wedding ceremony, you can go ahead and have a line out with a 1/4-inch cable right here. And one of the cool features that I did like for some of those times when I'm in a little more of a dark space, we have a little LED feature so we can get full visual of the actual back of the actual control panel. And obviously we have our IEC input right there as well, and our power. So I would like to say you guys can obviously go check out the website. I'll put a link down below so you can see all the specifications, but there are a couple of things that I want to point out to you guys. This is an 8-inch speaker. It weighs about 15 pounds. It has full Bluetooth connectivity. It has the two XLR ports. It has the auxiliary port. Another thing I'd like to point out is the charging time. It takes about 5 hours to charge this particular PA system, which is about 1 hour more than it would take to charge my Everse 8. So it's not a big difference, but it's just something for you guys to consider. Also, this is about 12 hours of playtime. So I always like to tell people this though. When you have, I haven't tested it to see if it really will last 12 hours, but I will say that anytime I've ever used any of these battery operated systems, I usually have the volume at about 1/4 to 1/2, depending on if it's cocktail hour or if it's a bigger ceremony or whatnot. And it usually lasts about 5 to 6 hours. So if they say 12, I usually in my mind say that it's probably gonna last me about 6 hours. And that's just because, you know, obviously as mobile DJs, the settings are different when we're using it in real life versus when they're just testing it in their labs. So keep that in mind when you see these specifications about 12 hours. But again, I have not seen if this particular one will last 12 hours on playing it at half volume. So I gotta say, I did get a chance to use the Explor PA in a real life setting. And all I can say is this thing really is solid. It's a great speaker, has a great crisp sound. I love that. I definitely encourage you guys to go and listen to it. I'm not gonna do a sound test because obviously you guys all know when you do sound tests through the speakers here, it's not gonna give you the sound that you are really hoping to hear. So I'll leave that to you. Try it out for yourself. But I took this out to a small cocktail hour that I was doing, and this thing, I was getting compliments on it. Another great thing to point out with this particular speaker is it's a 3-way speaker system. So that means if you're using this while playing music and using your microphones, you should experience a great sound all across the board having that 3-way system built into this PA. Now I told you guys about the quality of the sound and things of that nature, but I gotta tell you, when it comes to headroom, this thing definitely handles. I don't know, and some of you guys can comment down below. When you use the Everse 8, I don't know, I experience a lot of limiting, even when I'm not even playing it that loud. It flickers a lot, especially when certain bass hits. I've never experienced with the Everse 8 it like clipping to the point where the sound chips out when it's limiting, but it is a little, nerve-wracking to see that limiting meter going off, it just gets on my nerves. That's the one thing that EV, if you're watching this, you need to fix that. Like, I don't understand why all your speakers limit so early. But I will say, when it comes to this, there's plenty of headroom. I play this thing very loud, and I'm gonna say probably about a little more than half, and there was no limiting. Like, I was blown away at that. So that's one thing to point out about this PA. So who do I recommend this for? I recommend it for musicians, obviously, because of its three-way capability. And I do recommend it to wedding pros, but with a caveat. I recommend this to wedding pros that are on the lower tier of being wedding pros. And the reason why, it's not because of the quality of the speaker, it is only because of the functionality in which some of us wedding pros need to do certain things. When you're on a higher tier wedding pro, I would never recommend to somebody to go walk behind the speaker and, you know, change volume and things like that, which leads me to the one caveat about this speaker: there's no app. And, you know, for me as a wedding DJ, I actually appreciated that, because I like the ability to change volume where I need to when it comes to the microphones and things like that nature on the fly, without looking so obvious that I'm changing volume as a wedding ceremony's going on and things of that nature. But if you're not one of those people that really cares about an app, then this definitely is a great option for you as a wedding DJ. There's a lot of wedding DJs that actually don't care to use an app, and I get it. That maybe not in your workflow. That may be not something that you want to do. But for some of us, we do appreciate having that app, so that way we can be a little bit more inconspicuous as we go ahead and change volumes and adjust things of that nature. So with that said, I still will use this, but I'm gonna use it more of as a backup, or I'll actually just move it to a cocktail hour. Because with a cocktail hour, I kind of set the volume and I set it and forget it. I don't really need to adjust volume. But for my ceremony setup, I do need the ability to go ahead and change volume as people speak a little bit louder, people speak a little bit softer, some people might start singing, you know, you just never know. So I do need the ability to use that app on the fly to adjust my volume levels and things like that. But this is still a great all-around speaker. Here's the thing, I actually did weddings for years with the original Bose Pro S1. Yeah, and that one had no app. I would have to go up and, you know, change the volume and things of that nature. At that time, I was a little bit on the lower end of being a wedding DJ. It was in my early years of being a wedding DJ. So now, obviously, I'm a higher tier as a wedding DJ. So there are newer pieces of equipment and newer innovations that I'd like to incorporate in my setup as a wedding professional, so that way I can give my clients a better experience. And again, I'm not saying that this isn't something that can deliver on the experience, because the sound quality is there. But when it comes to being inconspicuous and things of that nature, I just feel like if they come out with an app for this, it'll be a total game changer. So Samson, if you're watching this, get working on that app, because I'm telling you, if you can allow people to adjust their volume on the fly and maintain a price point like what you have here, you're gonna kill the game. Like, that's something I'm telling you, you're gonna kill the game. Because for the price of this, which comes in about $399, I believe, at the time of this recording of this video, in comparison to the Everse 8, which is about $799, you can get two of these for the price of one Everse 8. So, you know, think about it. It's a no-brainer when you come into those kind of things and you're comparing things, because the specifications are there, you know. And also, Samson, if you're thinking about doing something like this, us wedding professionals, we do appreciate the color white, so it can be a little bit more inconspicuous at our weddings as well. I know right now this only comes in a black, but which is great, totally great, because a lot of wedding professionals still like to use black speakers, but some of us do appreciate when we can have a white speaker that can kind of go with some of the more of the decor of the venue itself. So keep that in mind. Just a suggestion. Definitely still love the speaker. It will be used in my setup, but more on the end of a cocktail hour or as a backup speaker for me. But I definitely encourage everyone to go ahead and go down to Guitar Center or go down to your local audio place. Check out the Samson Expedition Explor PA. It is a great speaker, and I think you're gonna love it. All right, guys, that's been my time. This has been an in-depth look at the Expedition Explor PA from Samson. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you want more tips on gear or whatnot, make sure you comment down below. I appreciate you guys. I want to know what kind of gear that you're looking at. Are you planning on picking up the Samson Explor PA, or did you already have it? What are your thoughts on it? Let me know, comment down below. And until next time, I appreciate you guys. Peace.